How did I first get involved in SBH? My first involvement with SBH was due to my husband, Fred Bijou, and Dr. Madeline, Dr. Bobby Madeline. Bobby was saying how in the hospital, there were so many people that were lonesome, people needed visitors.
And the idea was to visit patients in hospitals, give them a feeling that the community cares about them and wish them well.
We started having meetings, and Freddie called them motivation meetings in our dining room.
It started with about 7, 8 people. The next week was 30 people. Then it was 70 people. And then it was like 150 people. We had a big corner house. People were on the porch. We had to open the windows up so they can all get the gist of what the organization, what we were trying to do.
The captain concept came into play at that large meeting. Freddie was speaking to these women and saying, we need you to go in. We need you to be our eyes and ears because we can't do it ourselves. We need to all get together and then see what they need. And he said, you'll be the captain of your people. And I said, captain? He said, yeah, captain's a good word. I said,
do you know that as a captain, it's like being part of, the commercial, the proud, the Marines? As a captain, that's what you are. Do you know we are standing on the shoulders of giants? They've done a lot of the legwork, the foundation, and now we're continuing, bringing it to the new heights. The opportunity to meet people, come into people's lives when you're basically a stranger to them and just care, genuinely just care about them. It's like we're guardian angels of the night.
At a young age of 20, being involved in Kuchalim was totally new and exciting experience, and I realized that this is something that I can make a volunteering career out of. To make a career out of helping others was something that brought a lot of fulfillment to me, but more important, I thought of those that were helped. And I realized that the more I do is the more that others can themselves gain. As I did that, I realized that my own children were growing from that. My own children were learning from that.
To carry on the legacy of the giants before me is literally to carry on the legacy of my father, Joseph T. Beta, Alav Shalom, and the whole SBH family, which has always been an extended part of the Beta family.
My grandparents, when I was younger, I knew them as my grandparents. They were, always there for me, but I always remember we'd be walking in the street and they had people that they would call their friends. I kind of realized they were captains before captains were a thing. They were always giving advice to people. They were always helping people out. It makes me feel closer to them now because I feel like I'm kind of carrying on what they started.
I love that I'm able to help people, and I brought it forward to my children and my whole family. They all love to help people, and it's just such a rewarding feeling to be able to help people in need.
Carrying on the SBH legacy is really something that's always been in our blood. It's been in our family, and you see that the way parents act in the house and what they stress really transfers down to the generation. So for me, I think it's more of a responsibility to really to pass it on to my own kids and to be, that involved and that enthusiastic about it as my mother was, so that my kids and the future generations in the family also feel the same way and have the same connection to SBH and to Chesed as I do.
It's very important to be able to help each other and our own people, and that's really what I learned from my mother when she would help people, even though we didn't know the details. When she would help out a client, it was a win or a success story for her, as if it was her own family, because really the community is one big family, and that's why it's very important to me, and it's important to me to pass that on to my children. And I think the best way to do that is to set a good example, that we help each other.
I'm so humbled to be following in the footsteps of the giants and the leaders that have come before us. We're a community that's always been entrenched in acts of loving kindness. It's who we are as a people, it's who we are as a community, as a religion. And for them to have formalized it and created this chesed machine, which just keeps going and growing. How lucky we are to be following in their footsteps.
It's staggering how much our parents and grandparents were able to accomplish over the last few decades. And today, SBH is sitting on a rock-solid foundation because of the generations before us.
So when I think of carrying on the legacy in SBH, I immediately think of my mother and father. The strong feeling that I've always gotten from my parents that whenever someone was in need, they were there. And that's really the bottom line. That's really what it's all about.
Being a captain at SBH has taught me so much. It humbled me, and it helped me teach my children not to take things for granted and how much more we can do for other community members.
I am proud and honored to be part of the legacy of SBH. Starting out as a youth volunteer, watching and learning from the angels and giants that came before us. I know our community will be in good hands with today's youth. They are passionate, committed, and caring. They are many steps ahead than when we were young and involved. With the incredible lay leadership, amazing staff, and the infrastructure of what SBH is today, they literally have no limits and can accomplish all that they could dream of.
I also feel very fortunate to be able to give of my time and to show my kids that this is what we do. This is not an option. You are here to give, and you have to find time to give. And I've learned that from my parents, and I think that my kids have learned that from us.
There's always room to make it more fantastic and for us to grow and to see my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and I hope great-great-grandchildren would be something unbelievable.
Not in a million years did I ever think SBH would turn into what it is today. It's amazing. It's really wonderful. It's a whole nother brand new organization.
Never gonna know how far this organization is gonna go. The vision that we had, of course, it wasn't where it is today, but I never felt that there was a limitation to anything that we do.
I see the children of my clients have grown up to be incredible human beings. They're friends with my children. Their grandchildren come over to play with my grandchildren. I hear their names because it's the same names as my clients. No one ever knew that they needed help because now their parents are people that help. You don't always see the fruits of your labor in this life. You really don't. It's hard, it's challenging, but you will benefit from the fruits.
Being surrounded by the giants of the previous generation has given me the awareness and guidance on how to continue building what our great leaders have established and built for us.
So my mission is to emulate what the people before us did, like my parents and grandparents, because what they did, I can implement it into the future to make SBH great.
I think once you make the step towards doing more chesed and getting more involved, it becomes a part of not only your daily life, but your character traits. It's not just an action that you do, it becomes who you are.
So my mission is to continue helping others and to help others to maintain their dignity.
I love that I'm from all this. I love how and I want all my kids to do it.
Watching my mother and father-in-law being so involved in chesed, even with their busy lives, really taught me that I want chesed to be a priority in my home.
I have a great life lesson that I learned from Joseph Beta. We were working together on a very difficult case, and we were meeting with the family. And I was wondering, why isn't Joseph speaking? Till I realized he was listening and trying very hard to understand what they were saying. This really has made a difference to me, and I think this is something that all the captains should learn from, how to really listen.
I remember coming home from my first case and saying, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't see people suffering like this. And you know what? I persevered, and with the help of, my social worker and other captains, it helped me to get through the first case. So my message to all of you today is sometimes it's tough. Sometimes seeing what's going on in other people's lives is tough. Don't give up. You can't imagine the impact that you're going to have on someone's life and what it means to them for you to be doing what you're doing today.
I want to tell captains that they should appreciate this unbelievable opportunity they've been given.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Just be yourself. Just do what Hashem put us here to do, to help other people, to help each other. And the truth is, the more you do chesed, the more you feel good about yourself also.
So go for it. There's opportunity. Grab the opportunity. Keep your eyes open. If you're trying to help people, it can only be good.
Our fondest reality of life, besides our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, is the organization and where it has come. It's something that you're never going to forget, and it's going to always be part of your life, and it's going to make you into a much better person.
We will stay focused, we will stay direct, we will stay on course. And we do that with God's help and with the help of everyone in our community and Jews throughout the world.